for Irish books. Our literature is having a moment across the globe, and everyone here is allowed a little glimmer of pride, but as you've all been saying to me, we'll never get notions in Ireland. Now, as Larry mentioned at the start of the evening, we have a new trophy this year. All hail St. Bridget of Kildare, the patron saint, woohoo! The patron saint of writers and poets. She carries an ancient source of inspiration for the ancient tradition of storytelling. The creator of this magnificent new statue of Bridget is another Kildare woman, award-winning ceramicist Ciara O'Keeffe. She's in the audience tonight, and so together with Ruth Liddell from Created Gifts and IBA designer Rob Garraway, please show your appreciation for their beautiful creation. Well, look, it's lovely to see so many of you here tonight, but in addition, with the help of our sponsors, we're actually live streaming the ceremony tonight to book lovers right across the country. Check out An Post's Instagram or TikTok feed. And we've also created a watch party in the Stella Cinema in the Devon Hotel in Ranelagh to bring the fun to your family and friends. It's hosted by Pádraig Wilson McCarthy, and we have people avidly following the fun, as you can see on screen now. And like all live links, there's a bit of a delay. So how's it going, Pádraig?
Hello, Miriam. You look absolutely stunning tonight, if I do say so. We are here in the Devlin for the official watch party of the An Post Irish Book Awards. Now, we can't be there with you, but I will say the crack is 90 here tonight. I want to show you our lovely guests. Have a look at all these people here. Now, don't they scrub up well? I'm glad I wore my suit, that's all I'm going to say. We want to say a massive, massive best of luck to all the nominees tonight. We're watching here, we're rooting for you all, and we'll check in with you again a little bit later on.
Míle bríochas, Pádraig. Well, hopefully we'll catch up with them later on, as Pádraig said. I know that's tonight's event. Well, it's considered, I think, the book industry's Christmas party, but we have important business to take care of. So let's be swift and get started on our very first award of the night. The Bob Hughes Lifetime Achievement Award honours the true greats of Irish literature. Tonight's honoree will join the Hall of Fame of Irish writers, household names like Trevor, McGahern, O'Brien and Binchy, whose distinguished bodies of work have left an indelible mark on our culture. We'd like to announce that this year's Lifetime Achievement Award winner is a man who has just retired from a very successful and extremely popular presidency of Ireland, Michael D. Higgins. And 14 years ago, in one of the first official engagements of his new role, he actually presented this award to his fellow poet, Seamus Heaney. And now we've come full circle. We'd like to present this award in recognition of his own work and, of course, the tremendous support of literature and the arts while in office by him. Well, to present the award, please welcome to the stage the current laureate for Irish fiction, Eilish Ní Ghuimhne. And as she makes her way to the stage, we'd like to show this short tribute video.
I think right across the arts, in every sphere of the arts, from theatre to poetry to literature, having someone like Michael D. Higgins in Ars an Uachtaráin felt like an open door. And right through the decade of centenaries, wherever he could, he incorporated literature in the broadest sense into key anniversaries, into celebrations. So I think he made the country feel like literature had its place within the walls of Ars an Uachtaráin.
The inner artist of Michael D. has always been really, really important. The fact that he was a poet whose absolute profession is dedicated to truth-telling, that made his utterances as president very powerful. I remember on a state visit to Athens, the cradle of rhetoric and oratory, he said, "Public language is losing its power to reflect private experience and the capacity to harness this towards a wider good." His speech was taught as an example of exemplary rhetoric, with the added benefit that the man meant what he was saying.
My most precious memory of him is a number of years ago, Francis Street Christian Brothers School celebrated its bicentenary. And it's a school where my father Sean, went to school there. The guest of honour was President Higgins and Sabina. There was no national press. The state limo boot was crammed with books that he wanted to donate to the school library. The whole visit was supposed to be 40 minutes, and I think he was there for 4 hours. And I think he talked to every single kid in that school. And there was a generosity and a thoughtfulness as he spoke to them about the importance of the book, the importance of education, the importance of poetry. He said over and over again, you're never alone if you have a book. You can achieve anything if you have a book. You can go anywhere if you read poetry.
I find it extraordinary when you read things he wrote in Hot Press, for example, travelling to Gaza and Israel, writing about the need for a peace process there. So much of what he was writing in that magazine, it still resonates with people today.
As Minister for Arts, he went in really for the first time in the history of the state and banged the cabinet table and demanded sustainable resources be put at the service of artists and the arts community.
I find that a lot of the qualities that he brings to leadership are also there on the page. There's a poem of his that I really admire called The Betrayal. It addresses the difficult relationship he had with his father, but it also addresses aspects of our country's history and of his father's generation. It's so moving. He describes his father's thumbnail and how he used to scratch patterns into the children's shoes, which was something I found so moving. And then towards the end, he loops back towards that image again and describes these difficult patterns of life that are almost etched in his own heart.
In the latest collection, there's a poem called Dark Memories. And I think for anyone who studied the Irish Civil War, they recognise a lot in that. The difficulty that the war left on the families of men and women who had taken part in it, the inability to find work, the divisions within a society, a lot of the emotional trauma, and it was a collective emotional trauma of the Irish Civil War.
Himself and Sabina, and I wish them every peace and happiness in their retirement, though I know them being them, it won't be retirement in any understood.
Creative retirement, Bear Bua, agus no passaran, agus mila buichas.
And now Michael D is going to come to the stage.
No thumbship.
And Eilish, I think first of all you will read a tribute to Michael D.
Yes, thank you, Miriam. So, tá fiar áthas orm a bheith an seo chun gradam Bob Hughes son na héithir héil a bhrunna or níor Uachtarán úsal Michael D. Higgins. Bhrun an Tuachtarán, bound an laureate diction na Héireann orm, mína go hin in áras an Uachtarán, agus tá sé anias rud éigean a bhrunna siúd. I'm absolutely delighted to have the honour of presenting the most important award of the night to our beloved former President, Michael D. Higgins. We all know and appreciate the kindness, intellect, passion for justice and fairness in the world which Michael D. Higgins brought to the presidency. We were lucky, we have been lucky, we still are lucky to have presidents who represent what we Irish people still treasure most: the social and human qualities of concern for others, altruism, honesty and kindness, the intellectual qualities of intelligence, learning, wisdom, and the more mysterious qualities of the artist, especially of the writer and poet. Tá anna chud buna ag Michael D. Higgins a chur lena uachtarántacht, éireann, tuiscint, ólas faoi limistéir na polítíochta, flathúlacht agus sébhúlacht pásanta ina measc. Ach an tré is mó a hahan lumsa, nór gur fila é, caintear gailge agus duine le fíorrá don litríocht agus dus na halíana. What made Michael D. most precious to us in the literary community was that he is one of us, a writer and a reader who has an insider's understanding of literature. President Higgins had much in common with our first Uachtarán, Douglas de Hida. He was likewise a scholar and a writer and a great Irish speaker. I love living in a country which chose a writer and a scholar as its first president, and which elected another poet and scholar 14 years ago in 2011, a poet whose wife is an actor and a beloved personality in Ireland's artistic community, the wonderful Sabina. We know how Michael D.'s love of the arts has benefited us in Ireland. He was an inspiring First Minister for Arts and the Gaeltacht when, among other great initiatives, he established Telefís na Gaeilge. That enduring legacy aside, I would like to think that his mind and heart are especially sensitive and wise because he's a researcher who relies on evidence before reaching conclusions and at the same time a poet who observes life with a keen eye and who has the capacity to see beneath the surface of things to what is true. A poet is creative, a poet has vision, a poet can dream. Michael D. Higgins has these gifts. We're lucky to live in a state which from its founding has chosen visionary, creative people as its presidents. Michael D. Higgins' latest book, Against All Certainty, is a wonderful gift to Ireland as he leaves the presidency. I found it stunning, moving, and an eye-opener. For those who haven't read it yet or listened to it, please do. It's a suite of poems which are a memoir of his childhood, prefaced by a vivid introduction in prose. The story is one of many great Irish people born in the 40s or the 50s who grew up in relative hardship, though with many moments of joy and laughter as well, and love of poetry and life. Like many others, he moved beyond that to a middle-class life, if you can call being president of Ireland middle class, but I think we can somehow, which says something about us here. The president feels like one of us. Michael D., moving on, brought with him vigorous compassion for those in our society who are unfortunate. The child is father of the man. He did not block out his childhood or push it behind him. He moved beyond it, but didn't forget it. Rather, he learned from childhood experience, remembered what it was like to have hand-me-downs, and spent his life trying to create a compassionate society where everyone has what is needed for a good life, materially and spiritually. I loved that little book, and I would love to see it expanded to have a longer memoir, especially of the first 30 or 40 years, and I hope we see it. I'll finish with a few lines from Michael D. Higgins' own introduction to his book, lines which I found profound and hopeful and true. I was in Galway. I'd got a loan and gone to England. I was heading for university. My life would change. One's own biography has to be linked to history, but it is not solely determined by it. Imagination includes possibilities realized and unachieved. Today, there are those who are deeply hurt, so badly that they find it near impossible to see beyond their own past. The task lies in getting beyond that to the hope that solidarity and commitment bring. Agus anish bhfuilm an gradam Bob Hughes for a lifetime achievement of Runnu Air or Ir Uachtarán Uasal, Michael D. Higgins.
coaches Iana Caldwell, Screenore, agus coaches and locked Letriocht and Heron. Dear friends, distinguished guests, writers, publishers, librarians, binders and friends of the publication of the book. Is an armoria agus glacham gohulish an gradam sha. May I say how honoured I am to accept the Unpost Irish Book Awards 2025 Lifetime Achievement Award. It is a prestigious honour and one that I receive with humility, given the lifetime achievements of previous awardees. May I thank Eilish Nicovna, our laureate for Fiction 2025-28, for presenting me with this award this evening. Eilish is a writer of exceptional talent who has brought literary insight and wit to Irish writing. And yes, I do recall very clearly, long in 2011, very shortly after I became Uachtar na HÉireann, I had the honour of presenting this very award to Seamus Heaney in 2011. May I say, I think as I accepted, of those who have passed on, and we have lost a great number of beautiful minds and powerful imagination in those recent years. May I say too, as I accept the award, is that I ask us all to think of writers in prison, writers who are denied the opportunity of communicating, often denied the opportunity of communicating with their families, but who have striven, taken extraordinary measures to try and have the space to put words upon a page. This year represents the 20th anniversary of the Unpost Irish Book Awards, and in those 2 decades, this event has come to occupy a cherished role at the heart of Ireland's cultural calendar, and each year they champion the finest of Irish writing in all its wonderful diversity and variety, celebrating not only the established voices whose names are familiar, but also those who are beginning to carve out their presence on the page, reminding us that writing is a living tradition, one continually enriched by new perspectives, new imaginations, new experiences. And it is my hope that we will shortly, we are beginning to see already, the special contribution that those who have come from migrant backgrounds and come from us live, make their home with us for safety in Ireland, that they will enrich that culture. But the book, I've often been said people taking images of my office when I was President of Ireland, indeed when I was minister. I seemed smothered in books, and indeed it's a very interesting time. I used books, indeed, to escape from some of the barriers that I faced in my life. I remember my mother going into Mahony's bookshop about the latest novel from Annie M.P. Smithson, whom I would later read about, and her experience as a nurse. And after the head of the hospital saying to her, as she wore shamrock on St. Patrick's Day, "Take that piece of vegetation from your uniform." And she says, "That's not vegetation. That's the symbol of my country." I think the contribution of Irish writers has contributed enormously to Ireland's reputation abroad. And I think this is interesting that I wanted to think myself. When I say the book, I always referred to it in my speeches when I was president as the making of a book, because involved was the writing, certainly, and publishing included a whole series of different skills. For example, given the age that I was, I appreciated all the people who used cream paper and large black print, which in fact was so helpful to those, let us say, who were over 45. I think I was so pleased too that it's something about the book you should never remember or never forget. I beg your pardon. And it is that you handle the book before you read it. This reminds us of a very wonderful difference between Plato and Socrates is in relation to the priority of the sense of touch and the visual capacity. But you touch the book before you turn the pages. And therefore, in that sense, that reminds us of the importance of librarians. And I'm so glad that they're represented here this evening, because the work. As I look around and these wonderful people that are gathered here this evening, I think the reputation of Ireland, so strong as it has been made by writing, is in fact in very good hands. And I want to congratulate all of the people who were shortlisted across the different categories. When people say that I think that the work, the arts can be emancipatory, I've used it myself as a phrase. But I want to say a little more about that to say. I think as I have come to this stage of my life, looking back on it all, I regret any delay we had in not contesting modernity. A modernity that has brought us such gross inequalities, that has a gradual accretion of wealth to a very, very few people, while global poverty and hunger prevails. But much beyond that, that has created such competition and use of resources in the incredible preparation for endless violence and war. So to say that the arts can be emancipatory in many cases, I think therefore is insufficient for me. It is necessary to say what is stopping us taking off the masks that enables us to live, or indeed as different popes have now put it, to live in a kind of acquiescence with what is so wrong and so unequal. And I've learned this from my 14 years in the Áras as Sabina and I moved around the country. I believe that there is an unquenchable, irrepressible instinct that is beyond what is in front of you in every person's heart. And I think that is what is worth, in a way, what poetry does, what writing does in a way, is that it once, in fact, makes it succinct. It distills, if you like, the hope that will, in fact, give power into the future. So writing, then, is the most profound expression of our humanity, giving language to that what is often left unsaid. It has the power to give voice to the silenced as well. But all that language can be stolen from us if used by those who are the enemy of the ethics that I described. I recall when I met Václav Havel and walking with him, and I often use his powerful phrase, words can liberate, words can kill, words can destroy. And that is so why writing is so much important as the expression of our humanity. And we must question any restraints. It is to that ethic of the unrealized capacity and fulfillment of humanity that writing, in its different ways and forms, is directed. I think that there is a time, people say, in many cases, think of the evasion in a phrase when a place is described that there is merely conflict or it's very disturbed and so on, when in fact there may be a point when they should be saying, this is the outcome of gross exploitation. This is the outcome of division. This is the outcome of racism. This is the outcome of, in fact, of gender-based violence. So I think so many forces not only seek to avoid us, but they also seek to take from us the capacity to use the language that is necessary to describe what is a travesty in our humanity. The shock and loss of biodiversity, the scourge of hunger, inequalities, I've said, displacement. All of these interacting communities around the world, they test us to say in many cases, do we send a border then? Do we establish a border to what is our responsibility as a shared human family? To, in fact, actually save the planet itself so as to be able to hand it on to future generations, in which we will be able to say it is so much more worthy to declare aspects of nature, rivers and mountains and others, as things to be honoured as persons in their own right, rather than allowing an exploitative corporation to be regarded as a legal personality with the power to challenge the state. I think the freedom that is part of imagination must not be reduced to commodity or function. When I was Minister in 1996 as President of the Council of Culture Ministers in the European Union, I sought to have the book regarded as such an important cultural implement as part of the cultural infrastructure of Europe that I opposed it being regarded as a commodity and being handled under the commodity regime. I had brief support from France, but it's very interesting to me that Denmark, for example, this year is now worried about the people who are not reading books, and it is trying to regard the book as very important. And I think that in that case, therefore, books are so important. They are made to be read. When I was getting snowed under, in many cases in the Oras, I said to them, it's the book, in fact, it can't be put into storage. So I sent it to the public libraries, because I very much respect the people who handle books and all of that, and the person who is the paper, the stitching, the binding, and so on. And therefore, I also think as well that it is that kind of consciousness of the humanity yet to be achieved is what is the best atmosphere for the achievement of the United Nations Sustainable Development books. But there is another thing I think of, and why, in fact, I was put into my speech the message about writers in prisons. It is about Thomas Merton's wonderful phrase. Thomas Merton, his view that a book will choose you when you're ready for it. And it was in that sense, in many ways. The book I'm currently handed in to me by my son, borrowed from my son Michael, is that of Peter Kropotkin, and about the courage at his time, writing letters to Lenin to tell him that he was betrayed by being harsh in some of the insurrections on the very principles of what it is that they were trying to achieve. That is why it is always important, in my view. And I said it in so many speeches that I must say it now for a while. There is nothing so complex that it cannot be understood by all of the people if you communicate it properly. And more important, I do think this as well. It has been one of the guiding principles of the time when I had my first books in my hand, or the ones that my mother had saved. It was that you had to allow yourself to be able to get excited, even imaginatively, about other lives, other beyond the lives that you are accepting now. And for that reason, there are many people. I'm so anxious that people will see that modernity has been a terrible, terrible story for so many, because it was uncritically dealt with, and it was a dominating paradigm in sociology that I spent a lot of my life trying to check. I have so pleased at any time about my notion of touching the book before you read it. That's why bookshops are so important, and to go in and feel the atmosphere of all the books around you. And I praise all those bookshops who have gone, and those new books who have come into being. I want to just say too, reference has been made to my last book, that the Power to the People. That is, in fact, I owe so much to Niall Stokes. When I was in Sally O'Neill and I were writing about the massacre in Mohote, there was no place that could publish that. Hot Press published it, and they published about my time in South Africa and in Somalia and at the visiting refugee camps in Honduras. They were all in Hot Press when other people were up, sometimes people in power apologising for how I was embarrassing a large part of the United States. But Niall said one thing to me: as long as it's between 800 words and 2,500 words, it'll be grand. Now, who would have ever but appreciated such that? And I want to thank Jonathan Williams, my agent, who negotiated all the different publishers of my poems. I just think that is just all so important. I think, to thank people, because books, they're coming into the world of a new publication, a new piece of music. It doesn't end there. Its story has only commenced. It is the interaction that is very important. And I believe to putting it all together, my work in politics, my work in writing poems and whatever, I have a sense that I have felt not only in Ireland but in many different places in challenging circumstances, that is what is needed is a globalization from below, one that will respect senses, the nature, philosophy, the right to ask the difficult questions, to be able to put grief and joy on the same page. And I salute all of you who have been doing that work so long. I again congratulate all those on the short list. Agus míle buchas liv tris liam liv. Agus guim gach banach dorif galier agus shiv ag dalaraig le cursi screenerta agus gentus and lower. Many thanks, buchas.
Well, Cogardicus to Michael D on this so well-deserved award, and our thanks to Eilish for framing it so wonderfully. Thanks so much, Eilish, as well. Now to the first award for new books of the evening, and this is the Journal.ie Best Irish Published Book of the Year. This category is an expression of confidence in our Indigenous industry, which continues to shine brightly. These are the books you may be gifting to friends and family this Christmas. Presenting the award is Susan Daly, Managing Editor at Journal Media. Here are the nominations.
The Journal.ie Best Irish Published Book of the Year. For and Against a United Ireland by Fintan O'Toole and Sam McBride. An Irish Word a Day by Hector O'Hochogáin. The GAA Covered by John Kelly. 99 Words for Rain and 1 for Sun by Monchán McGann, illustrated by Megan Luddy. Midwinter, A Journey Through a Season by Michael Harding and illustrated by Ina Farrell. Sunday Miscellany, a selection 2023 to 2025, edited by Sarah Binchy.
You're so welcome, Susan. Can you tell us who your winner is, please?
It's Miriam. The winner of the Journal.ie Best Irish Published Book of the Year is 99 Words for Rain and 1 for Sun by Monchán McGann, illustrated by Megan Luddy.
And accepting the award tonight on behalf of Monchán is his wife, Aisling Rogerson, together with the illustrator, Megan Luddy.
Is Morgan Mavet on Shaw. I'm extremely proud to be here to be accepting this award on Monchán's behalf. And if ever there was a good kick up the hone to get my language skills to where they should be, it's standing in front of you here now and not being able to say what I want to say, Os Gaeilge. For such a simple book in its essence, it represents so much more than its 100 words. It's really a shining example of the interest at the moment in the revival of the language that is so powerfully prevalent right now. Thank you, Megan, for bringing this book to life so beautifully with the illustrations. Thank you to Gil for bringing it to its physical form, and everything else that they've done for Moncon over the years. And thank you to Moncon for seeing the possibility in things that most of us didn't see. He was a key holder to something, and he's left that door wide open for us now. Thank you.
Hello, thank you. Sorry, I'm not off the cuff. Thank you so much for this award. It was a huge honour to work on any project at all with Mancon, but in particular to be trusted with this book. Mancon's thorough research into and care for the Irish language, pre-colonial Ireland, post-colonial Ireland and folkloric Ireland dovetailed so perfectly with what I already love to research and make art about. Mancon illuminated an Ireland for us which was so full of wonder and of magic that any illustrator would find it a pleasure and an ease to draw. I certainly did, and I feel incredibly lucky to have had the chance. Thank you so much to Gil for the opportunity, to Graham for his art direction, and to Mancon again for trusting me with his beautiful words. Gurv Míle Magwiv. Thank you also to my family, in particular my parents, Angela and Liam, and to my friends for their much wanted art critique and their quick responses in the group chat. Thank you so much again, it's Saoirse Don Fallstín, and thank you so much for the award. Thank you.
Kogardic is there, and thank you to Aisling, Megan and Susan. Well, now next up is the non-fiction book of the year, sponsored this year by the Booksellers Association campaign Irish Book Week. These are real stories invested with the ring of truth and the power of authenticity and persuasion. To present the trophy is the chair of the Irish BA, Maria Dickinson, and while she makes her way to the stage, let's take a look now at the books that have made the shortlist this year.
Non-fiction Book of the Year: The Bailout Babies by Adam Maguire, Catastrophe, Nakba 2 by Fintan Drury, The Secret Life of Leinster House by Gavin Riley, Deadly Silence, a sister's battle to uncover the truth behind the murder of Clodagh and her sons by Alan Haw by Jacqueline Connolly, written with Catherine Rogers, The Lie of the Land, a game plan for Ireland in the climate crisis by John Gibbons, Dynasty, Scandals, Triumph, Turmoil and Succession at the Heart of Dunstores by Matt Cooper.
Maria, welcome to our party. Please tell us who the winner is.
Thank you. The winner of the Irish Book Week Non-Fiction Book of the Year is Deadly Silence by Jacqueline Connolly with Catherine Rogers.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again, because the visions of the creeping left its seeds while I was sleeping, and the vision that was planted in my brain still remains.
I didn't expect to be crying, first of all. It means a huge amount to me to win this award this evening. As any survivor who goes public with their story knows, it is not easy to share your most profound loss and trauma in this way. I set out to tell my story for one reason, and that was to move on the conversation around domestic violence, coercive control, and its very worst manifestation, family annihilation in Ireland. Many have been on this journey with me, from my co-writer, Catherine Rogers, to my publisher and editor, Ciara Constantine in Hachette, Ireland. I would also like to thank them for their much expertise, care and support. to my publicist, Sharon Plunkett, Elaine Egan, and to Dr. Paul Gaffney and Anne Clark from Offaly Domestic Violence Support Services for their input into Deadly Silence. I would also like to thank Kim and their team in Buy the Book in Virginia for their support, especially during the launch of my book. Biggest thanks of all to my family, friends, and especially my amazing young son, Gary, the light of my life, and of whom I am so proud. He alone owns this award tonight. What drove me forward in writing Deadly Silence has always been the quest for truth, to understand what happened in the lead up to my family's murders, so that we can move the conversation on, and by doing so help reshape policy that can change things for the better and ultimately save the lives of women, children and men. This book was longer coming than we hoped for, and it wasn't just because I couldn't meet my deadlines, just to be clear. We were waiting on the findings of the Serious Crime Review led by the Gardaí, and that took 4 years. This isn't an evening for darkness or for getting political, but before I finish, I simply wish to say that there are important findings in the in-depth review into Serious Crime Review which took place over 4 years, which need to be made public. As a family, we have never been furnished with the actual report, only appraised of its contents. The 800-page report itself is sitting idle, gathering dust on a shelf somewhere. Tonight, I take this opportunity to publicly ask Garda Commissioner Justin Kelly for its release and discussion around this matter. No family should ever have gone through what my family have gone through. And this award is a memory of my beautiful sister Clodagh, my nephews, Liam, Niall and Ryan, my brother Tig, my late husband Richie, and to all the survivors and victims of domestic violence. Thank you.
Oh, wow. Congratulations there to Jacqueline, and thanks so much to Maria. Okay, our next award, this brings us to the Bookstation Lifestyle Book of the Year. Books on lifestyle, wellness and the environment, as you all know, become hugely popular in recent years, and rightly so, because these are tomes that help us to make sense of what can become an increasingly stressful world. Presenting the award is Joan Glavey. She is head book buyer at Bookstation, and here are the nominations.
Bookstation Lifestyle Book of the Year. Donald's Real-Time Recipes by Donald Skehan. The Walking Effect by Carl Henry. Make and Freeze by Lou Robbie. Light Up by Miriam Hussey. Sophie's Swaps by Sophie Morris. Good Together, Delicious Recipes for the Moments That Matter by Una Leonard.
Well, I think you have a winner for us, Jo?
Yes, Miriam, we do. The winner of the Bookstation Lifestyle Book of the Year is Sophie's Swaps by Sophie Morris.
Glorious food, hot sausage and custard. If you're in the mood, blossom and
Thank you so much. I'm completely blown away, to be honest. I've had a really wild year, and if you had told me this time last year that I'd even written a book, I would have told you there's no way. So to have this is an honour that I do not take lightly. I want to thank my two little boys, Ryo and Max, my husband Robbie, without whom I definitely would not be in this position. I want to thank Gill Books for believing in me and this book from the start. And mostly I really want to thank everyone who's actually bought this book and has supported me throughout this last year and the wild journey that I've been on, because I really believe it's all of you and all of those people that have resulted in a real impact has happened in the food industry in Ireland, and I have big dreams to make a big impact in the food industry in Ireland, and I think this is only just the beginning. So thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Okay, congratulations there to Sophie, and thank you to Joan. Well, next up is the Eason Sports Book of the Year. Why is sports so important to us Irish? At times it may seem like it's relatively trivial, but at the same time, as we saw recently with Troy Parrott's late goal last week, nothing lifts the spirit of our nation like a sporting success, and we love to read about it. Well, presenting the award tonight is Keelan Fay, Eason's senior book buyer, and here are the year's nominations.
Eason's Sports Book of the Year. Heart on My Sleeve by Andrew Porter and foreword by Richie Sadler. The Only Way I Know, the autobiography by Andy Farrell. Cloud 9, My Life in Rugby by Conor Murray and Tommy Conlon. The Race by David Gillick with Cathal Dennehy. O'Shea by Mark O'Shea with Adrian Russell. The Changing Game, the Past, Present and Future of Football by Martin O'Neill and Joey Durso.
Okay, welcome Keelan. Let's take them out of their agony. Who is the winner?
The winner of the Eason Sports Book of the Year is Heart on My Sleeve by Andrew Porter.
Honesty is such a lonely word. Everyone is so untrue. Honesty is hardly ever heard. I mostly what I want from you.
Wow. I don't know where to start really. Thank you firstly to An Post and the judging panel for, I suppose, giving this book the recognition that, to be honest, I never thought and I never really believed in myself that it could get. I suppose my only goal really for this book was that if I could help just one or two people, I've achieved what I wanted to get out of it, and I think standing here, it's incredible to see it, how far it's come, and yeah, it's I haven't prepared anything like everyone else, so I'm really sorry. I have a few thank yous to give out to Gil Hess, to the team, to Bonnier Books. Thank you for your support along the way. It's been absolutely incredible, and I'm sorry for the amount of blue ticks I've given you on WhatsApp and the back and forth. So, similar to Sophie, it's been a bit of a hectic year. So, thank you for your patience on that. To my wife, Elaine, I wouldn't be standing here if it wasn't for you. You've given me so much confidence and the support you've given me to produce this book. You mean so much to me, and I'm proud to be your husband. To my family, to my father, you've been that kind of beacon of strength all these years through the good times and especially the bad ones. So thank you. This was for you and Mum. And my two sisters, Eric and Lee, who've always been a constant support. Yeah, thank you. And apologies to Faz, because now he has another reason not to pick me after Saturday. So I just want to, thank you all for tonight. And yeah, God bless.
Well done to Andrew, and thanks to Keelan there. Next up, it's only a year really, but it holds an importance fostered through the ages, the Hodges Figgis History Book of the Year. It's a specific category to celebrate the many fine works from Irish historians every year. And presenting the award tonight is the bookshop manager of Hodges Figgis, Tony Hayes. And as he comes on stage, let's just see this year's bumper crop.
Hodges Figgis History Book of the Year. Wrong Women by Caroline West. The Dublin Pub, A Social and Cultural History by Donal Fallon. Charlie versus Garrett, The Rivalry That Shaped Modern Ireland by Owen O'Malley. Ireland, Mapping the Island by Joseph Brady and Paul Ferguson. Great Irish Wives by Nicola Pearce. Burn Them Out by Padraig Og O'Rourke.
Welcome, Tony. Can you please tell us who our winner is?
The winner of the Hodges Figgis History Book of the Year is Great Irish Wives by Nicola Pearce.
Oh my goodness. Thank you. This is such a thrill. This was a middle of the night idea. I have to thank the O'Brien Press for allowing me to do it. They've been such a huge help to me for years and years now. My editor, Susan, Emma, who designs the book, Kunak, Ruth, Ivan. I'm so proud to be an O'Brien Press writer. These 10 women came to mean so much to me. I started this book as a wife. It was the wives of historical men from history. And 5 of the women were widowed. I had no idea by the time I'd finished the book, I'd also be a widow. My husband is gone 10 months this month, but I know he would be absolutely delighted. And I continually look to those 10 wives for strength and resilience and wanting to carry on. And I absolutely love books. This is just, books just mean everything to me. I know I'm not making much sense now, so I'm going to shut up. But thank you so much. This is such an honour. Thank you.
Congratulations there to Nicola, and thanks, of course, to Tony. Well, next up, the next award is the Dubray Biography of the Year. Scarley? Yeah. My book is in it, as they say. It's actually been shortlisted, so I'm going to say goodbye for now, excuse myself. I'm going to leave you for a few moments. I'm going to leave you in the hands of the head of Dubray and a member of the IBA board, Brendan Corbett.
Thank you, Miriam, and best of luck. The 6 books nominated for this award are all important works of recollection and celebration. Let's take a look at the nominations.
Dubray Biography of the Year. She Died Young, A Life in Fragments by Brenda Fricker. Still, a Memoir by Julia Kelly. Speaking My Mind, the Autobiography by Leo Varadkar. Miriam, Life, Work, Everything by Miriam O'Callaghan. A Time for Truth, My Father Jason and My Search for Justice and Healing by Sarah Corbett Lynch. The Bass Player, Surviving the Miami Showband Massacre by Stephen Travers.
And the winner of the Dubray Biography of the Year is A Time for Truth, My Father Jason, My Search for Justice and Healing by Sarah Corbett Lynch.
something out, but it's in my bag and my hands are full. And I'm going to get it out because I don't really want to make a fool out of myself in front of everybody. This is such an honour, and I really didn't think that I was going to be here today. It's definitely a pinch-me moment. In spite of finding out I was dyslexic really late, writing became a space for me for my thoughts and my emotions, and hoping my lived experience about courage, loss, hope and family might resonate with others. So I never expected to be in a category with such amazing people that I've looked up to my entire life. I've been so blessed with my team at Hachette. I would like to say a big thank you to Ciara, Elaine, Joanna and Catherine, and all of those who we don't see working on our behalves behind the scene. So I'd like to give them a round of applause. To my mom, who is here with me tonight, she started teaching me a word a day when I was younger because I was so behind on school and learning, and I definitely wouldn't be here tonight if I hadn't had that. So this award belongs to both of us. I would also like to thank On Plus Book Awards for this recognition, and a big heartfelt thank you and gratitude to those who took the time to listen or to read my book. You're the reason that I have the confidence to be here today and to continue to advocate for my own lived experience and for others, and also to Mary O'Sullivan for this beautiful dress, and to Pure Jewellery for the jewellery I have on tonight. And I would like to dedicate this award to people who do not feel like they have a voice, because you absolutely do. And finally, to the reason I am here in this world and safe, because of the choices that he made. To my dad, Jason Corbett, I love you, and I am very proud to be your daughter. Thank you.
Oh, so well deserved. Congratulations, Sarah, on your incredibly courageous book. Such a well-deserved winner, such a beautiful young woman. Also, I just want to say thanks to Brendan and to everyone who's in that category. I felt like an imposter, but I was really pleased to be in it. So thank you all so very, very much. And in fact, thanks, I just want to say this to the whole trade. I must say, I've always admired, I do this awards every year, I've always admired our dedicated and creative booksellers and librarians, and their support for Irish writers and authors is extraordinary. But I know what it's like now to be in an author's shoes. My appreciation is much deeper. Well done, guys. Okay, our next award is the Last Word Listener's Choice Award. Hosted by Matt Cooper, the Last Word show has become essential listening for book lovers. Keen to learn more about or know what's happening in our world. Well, as the man himself steps on stage, here are the nominations.
The Last Word Listener's Choice Award. Old Parish, Notes on Hurling by Kieran Murphy. Intensive Care, True Stories of Healing, Heartache and Hope from inside Irish Children's Medicine by Dr. Suzanne Crowe. The Ghosts of Rome by Joseph O'Connor. The Gaeilge Guide, Spark Your Connection to the Irish Language and Legacy by Molly Guidera. Nesting by Roisin O'Donnell. A Time for Truth, My Father Jason and My Search for Justice and Healing by Sarah Corbett Lynch.
Well, Mr. Cooper, do you have a winner for us, Matt?
I do indeed, Miriam. The winner of the Last Word Listener's Choice Award is The Ghosts of Rome by Joseph O'Connor.
You and me were meant to be walking free in harmony. One fine day we'll fly away. Don't you know that Rome wasn't built in a day? One fine day we'll fly away. Don't you know that Rome wasn't built in a day?
Gosh, well, it's such a shock to see all these Irish writers dressed so beautifully, because I spent a lot of my time as an Irish novelist in trackies and a pyjama top. So it's great that we have this night to dress up and go out and behave in a civilised manner. Ir Uachtaráin, Sabina, Accordia, Míle buíochas agus tá áthas an domhan orm bheith an seo anocht. Friends, I am overjoyed and I'm deeply moved for the Ghosts of Rome to win this award by the votes of Irish readers. And I thank every single person who voted, not just for my book, but for any of the other fine books in the category. And I congratulate all of the authors in that category and all of the shortlisted authors who are here tonight. I want to thank the light and the loveliness and the joy of my life, Anne-Marie Casey, for our 27 years together, and for the lovely, happy times that we had in Rome while I was researching this book. And our sons, James and Marcus, who were there too. And I can't say enough about the team at Penguin Random House Ireland. I'm truly grateful for all of the fantastic support for the book from the readers and from Penguin Random House and librarians and the literary editors and everybody up and down the country who's been so kind to the book this year. The O'Flaherty family, relatives of the great Hugh O'Flaherty, who is the central character in My Father's House and in The Ghosts of Rome, just for their graciousness and the trust that they've shown to me writing these books over the last few years. An Post, not just for their sponsorship tonight, but for the very beautiful Hugh O'Flaherty Memorial Stamp, which was issued last month. And Hugh was a great letter writer, and I think it's a lovely way to remember his heroism and his selflessness. Matt Cooper and his team for the genuine passion that there is for books. As every author who's been interviewed in that studio will know. If I may, my wonderful friends and colleagues at the University of Limerick, where I teach, thank you very much, Limnock Abu, as a blow-in like me is allowed to say after 11 years. I want to thank and salute my friend and colleague Donal Ryan and Grania O'Brien, who are both on the shortlists tonight. Very proud of them. In a special way to thank my wonderful students at the University of Limerick. And I would say that my students have taught me a lot, but if I did say that, UL would find a way of charging me fees, so I'm not actually going to do that, but I'm truly touched for teaching to be a part of my life. And I'll finish by saying that this week, 36 years ago, I was living in London, trying to make it as a young writer starting out and getting nowhere. I'd given myself 3 years to try and get something published. I'd had absolutely no success. The end of the 3 years was coming up. It was November that year. I came into my little bedsit in Lewisham in southeast London one night, and on the answering machine there was a message from a marvellous gentleman back in Dublin who ran the New Irish Writing page. And he said, we're going to publish your first short story, Last of the Mohicans, published 36 years ago this month. And the man who published that story, I want to mention and praise. He is here tonight. He's run New Irish Writing for 40 years. He has published so many of us, well-known, successful authors who I see here in the room tonight, and others starting out, scores and dozens and thousands of us. He gave us our first chance. So I wonder, would you join me as I dedicate this award with my thanks to the man without whom I would not be here tonight for the Ghosts of Rome to receive this award, the great Kieran Carty. Thank you very much. Good night.
Wow, congratulations to Joe and thanks to Matt, and a beautiful dedication there, so well deserved to Kieran. Okay, we now come to the annual Children's Award categories. A children's laureate once said that access to books is really our children's best hope for the future. So true. And that's a view all of us in this room, I think, would willingly share. We're spoiled to have such brilliant Irish authors and illustrators to choose from. First up tonight, it's the junior category of Specsavers Children's Book of the Year. Katarina McGlennon from Specsavers.ie is joining me on stage for 2 awards, and here are the nominations for the younger readers.
Specsavers Children's Book of the Year, Junior. Once I Was a Tree, by Owen McLaughlin and illustrated by Guillermay Karsten. Don't Trust Fish, by Neil Sharpson and illustrated by Dan Santat. Penguin TV, by Owen Churcher and Niamh Sharkey. Badger Books, by Paddy Donnelly. Letters to a Monster, by Patricia Ford and illustrated by Sarah Warburton. An Fia Sochil, Les Sive Devlin agus Anastasia Melnikova. Elora McGee, Trainee Banshee, by Sinead O'Hart and illustrated by Una Woods. Run Home Little Fox, by Tom McGahern and Erica McGann and illustrated by Shannon Bergen.
Welcome, Katarina. Can you tell us your winner, please?
So the winner of the Specsavers Children's Book of the Year, Junior, is Run Home Little Fox by Tom McGaughran, Erica McGann, illustrated by Shannon Bergen.
Maybe you were born to run.
Thank you so much. I just want to say a very, very quick thank you to everyone at O'Brien Press for teaming me up with Tom and with Shannon. I grew up reading Tom's books, as I'm sure many of you did. So this has been an incredibly special book for me. So thank you so, so much.
There's a long list of people who I could thank, but I'll make it quick. Obviously to everyone at the O'Brien Press for all of their hard work behind the scenes, especially Emma for her guidance on the illustrations, to Erica and Tom for writing a beautiful story. That was an absolute joy to illustrate at every, just great. And yeah, everyone, I guess, at home in Birr, I was very privileged to grow up in a very small but vibrant creative community, and they were just such a huge help in every way. All the friends and family who've been a massive support, in particular to Marcella, Seamus, Alex, Cian, Cha, Jacob, Becca, who's been my co-creator since day one, and then to Barry, my partner in crime in all things, big and small. None of it would be possible without him. And very lastly, to my doctors, especially my GP, and Dr. Gabriel Mishroy and his team at the Bucharest Endometriosis Centre in Romania, whose dedication and hard work have helped countless women like me, and I've been extremely privileged to access care there. So, Gurmil Wagnev.
One evening, my wife and myself looked out our sliding glass doors, and there were 2 little fox cubs looking in. Or perhaps they were looking at their own reflection. I don't know. But then they were absolutely lovely, short nose, stubby ears. And then went off around the patio, and it was obvious from their innocence they were seeing the world for the first time. So I said, I must write a story about one of those little foxcups. But I didn't know where I put such a story until O'Brien Press asked me would I write a story for a picture book, and I knew exactly what the story was going to be. And I'd like to thank Owen and Ivan and all O'Brien Press, the fantastic team, for the production of Run Home Little Fox. As the President has said, touch is so important, and it's a very tactile book. It feels lovely. Now, I would like to thank Erica. Erica took my story in hand, and she highlighted what was needed for the text for the book. She did a wonderful job. She hit the nail on the head every time. And then it went to Shannon, and Shannon brought the words to life. Her illustrations are absolutely magical. It's the only word I can put to it, and thank you both. And I would just finally like to thank my wife, Frances. When I write something, Frances is my first reader. If she doesn't like it, I'm back to the drawing board. So I'd like to thank her. When she saw the story Run Home Little Fox, she loved it. And also thank other members of my family, all my other daughters, 4 daughters. They all play a part in my writing. And finally, I'd like to thank the judges and all those who voted for Run Home Little Fox. You'll see from the cover that the little fox is on a mission. Little Fox is on a mission. I don't know where he's going to take it, but I'm sure it'll be something very exciting. Thank you all.
Katharina, you stay with me, please, and well done there to Tom, Erica and Shannon. Well, the nominations for the Specsavers Senior Children's category are now. Let's roll the nominations.
Specsavers Children's Book of the Year Senior. Tales of Dark Isle, Book 1, Con of the Dead, by Dave Rudden and illustrated by Ali Al-Almin. Animalopedia, by Kathy and John Burke. The Doomsday Club, by Kevin Moran. Millie McCarthy and the Haunted House Hullabaloo, by Leona Ford and illustrated by Karen Hart. Granny National, by Rachel Blackmore with Rachel Pierce. Nina Peanut, Epic World Tour Era, by Sarah Bowie.
Katharina, could you please tell us the winner in this category?
So the winner of the Specsavers Children's Book of the Year Senior is Animalopedia by Kathy and John Burke.
Sorry, we weren't really expecting this. It's been an absolute joy doing this work. Thanks very much to Gil for asking us again. And it was just a thrill when we got the notice that they wanted us to go into the area of animals. And what made it so exciting, and I'm thinking of Manchán Magal, because I was so blown away by his work. And he's thinking about Irish words. And we found in Ireland that our oldest animals, and that's what we were concentrating on, our original animals before people arrived on the island, is their relationship with the animals that were there, the names that they gave them. Íl Tóg, the bat, on Íl Tóg Uisce, the water bat. If you look in the textbooks, you won't come across that. You'll come across Dubenton's bat, which is the scientific term they're using. But hundreds of years before Dubenton was born, we were calling it on Íl Tóg Uisce, the water bat. And any of you out by the canal or a lake or a pond on a lovely late summer's evening will see bats skimming the top of the water. They don't all do that. The water bat does it. And that's why it's called the water bat. And the same went for all those other animals. They were describing what they saw. They weren't giving it the name of the first person that saw them. The one I just love the hedgehog. The hedgehog wasn't there from the very beginning, and it came in with the Normans. But when they saw the hedgehog for the first time, they called it Grainneog, the little ugly one. I always feel sorry for the hedgehog with a name like that. But if you go through the book, all the animals have very descriptive Irish names, and that's why all the legends are in there, the folk tales, because there was a relationship between the people and the animal, the Madra Rua or the Shannock, and there were many, many other examples. But anyway, I won't tell you all about it. Thank you very much. I appreciate it extremely. One thing I must say, and this is not false modesty, but the children will not pick up that book, or would not if it weren't for the illustrations. They are just magnificent, and they're due to Kathy here.
It's my dad now, yeah. I just want to say thank you to everybody in Gill, not only for all the work that you did, for asking us to work together again. Me and Dad did our first book together 10 years ago, so it's kind of like a coming full circle moment for us. And it's like it does a dream come true to work with my dad. Even from that moment there, I'm sure you know what a joy it is to work with him. But also for all the great work that everyone in Gill did with us on this book. I want to thank Venetia and Nikki for having faith in us, for Georgina and Fiona, Aoife, and of course the designer Graham, for just bringing this whole idea together. I want to dedicate this award to everybody in Ireland who works with animals to protect our native species and also protect our native habitats. That this award is for you. And Germín Math Gwiv, thank you so much. Thanks.
Congratulations there to Kathy and John, and thank you, Katharina. We move on now. Finally, in the Young Readers categories, we come to the International Education Services Teen Young Adult Novel of the Year, and it's in memory of John Tracy, our former chairman, and it's presented by his son, Jonathan Tracy, MD of International Education Services. Here are the nominations.
International Education Services Teen and Young Adult Book of the Year, in honour of John Tracy. Skip Shock by Caroline O'Donoghue. The Rebel and the Rose by Catherine Doyle. My Name is Jodie Jones by Emma Shiva. Solo by Grania O'Brien. Matched Up by Jenny Ireland. Any Way You Slice It by Maeve MacDonald.
Okay, Jonathan, you have the winner for us, please.
The winner of the International Education Services Teen and Young Adult Book of the Year, in honour of John Tracy, is Solo by Grania O'Brien.
Tomas Kenny tells me, make sure you always speak into the mic. So I'm speaking into the mic. So I need to thank Little Island, my publishers. Thank you so much for taking Daisy and Flora and telling their story for me, particularly Orla, my editor, who dealt with my ego very well. And I also need to thank Conor Hackett and Cormac Kinsella. I need to thank Sally Ann, my agent, who believed in Solo when it was just one page. Kenny's, my employer. The entire Kenny's family, the entire Kenny's staff, Dean, the gallery manager, Shane, the shipping manager, everyone made sure that Solo looked beautiful and went everywhere it needed to go. My former employees, O'Mahony's, who welcomed me back for just a gorgeous launch, Cian Byrne of the Maynooth Bookshop, Alex Dunn, my first reader, Eve MacDonald, your book is so beautiful, as are all the other books in this category. Ronan Richmond and everybody in Argosy, my amazing family, my parents and my husband TJ. I just want to say I've been a bookseller for 14 years, but this was always my dream. And when my time came, it didn't matter where I worked or who was publishing it. So many people in this room got behind making sure that Solo found his readership, and not one bit of that support has gone unnoticed. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Huge congratulations there to Gráinne, and thank you to Jonathan. Well, look, at this point in this evening, we're pausing to remember friends and members of the Irish literary community who sadly passed away in the last year. Yesh Garev Anonamacha. We now come to the An Post Bookshop of the Year. John Updike gave us a tremendously evocative image when he spoke of bookshops spilling light onto the sidewalk, civilising their neighbourhoods. Irish bookshops spill light and wisdom into their communities, and we hugely appreciate them for it. 6 of the best shops were chosen for the shortlist of the An Post Bookshop of the Year, and they are:
An Post Bookshop of the Year, Antonia's Bookstore, Trim, County Meath; Charlie Byrne's Bookshop, County Galway; Chapters Bookstore, Dublin 1. Lieber Bookshop, Sligo Town. The Company of Books, Ranelagh, Dublin 6. The Maynooth Bookshop, County Kildare.
And presenting the award is Matthew Tyrrell, Director of Customer Service at An Post. Welcome. Are you ready to tell us the winner?
I am. What a cathartic and a beautiful evening. So the winner of the An Post Bookshop of the Year is Chapters Bookstore in Dublin.
I'm a little overwhelmed, to say the least. When we made the shortlist, someone asked me if I'd written a speech, and I said absolutely not, that'd only jinx it. In the end, I decided to write something because win or lose tonight, we thought we'd come here and celebrate. Myself, my best friend and business partner for over 30 years, Kevin Neary. Happy birthday, Kevin, by the way. Our families, the Chapters team, and Willie and Ger Kinsley to celebrate how far Chapters has come. Because 4 years ago, Chapters was facing into its last Christmas. A staple of Dublin City was closing. It did close. The last 3.5 years have been hard work. Books are heavy. There's lots of shelves in Parnell Street that need to be filled. But it has been the most rewarding, most fun thing we have ever done in business. I have some thank yous because it takes a village to raise a child, so we didn't do it alone. So if you bear with me while I thank some of these wonderful people. To Sarah, our manager, for sticking with us, teaching me the ropes when I knew nothing about buying books. She is the heartbeat of the shop. To David and Emily, our second-hand superstars with brains like encyclopedias. To Martin, who keeps us organised, and Patricia, who makes sure everyone gets paid. To Dawn, the voice of Chapters and soul of Chapters, who has brought us to millions of book lovers across all our social media channels and has really been outstanding. To our whole book-selling team, front of house and behind the scenes, who work so hard and make shopping in Chapters seem easy. Yeah. To all our suppliers, especially Argosy Books, who have always picked up the phone, backed us when things were tight, and never made us feel foolish for asking daft questions. To the publishers who gave us a chance and keep supporting us on a daily basis. To all the writers who added us to their signing routes and held their launches with us, we're eternally grateful to them all. To the Booksellers Association and its members, a very smart, generous bunch of people who never gatekeep, and we certainly wouldn't be here today without all their support and help. The Dublin City Council, who rejected the planning permission on our building on the basis that bookshops matter culturally to the city, and they are not in the business of closing them. That decision changed everything. To Willie and Ger Kinsley, We stand on the shoulders of giants. Thank you for giving us our first break as cheeky, naive kids many years ago, and for trusting the future of chapters to us. Most of all, I'd like to thank our wives and children who didn't say, "Are you mad?" but said, "Great, go for it. What can we do to help?" And finally, to the community of readers, in-store and online, who bring their stories and help keep us turning the pages. I'm really blown away by this because we really weren't expecting it. So you have no idea what this award means to all of us, new chapters and old chapters alike. After 43 years, thank you so much. It means the world to us. Guramaga.
Huge congratulations there to Mick and the team at Chapters, and thank you, Matthew. Well, look, just before we move away from booksellers and back to authors, I'd like to invite the director of the Irish Book Awards, Alistair Giles, who's going to join me on stage and introduce a special recognition award.
What's that about? I don't know. Hello, everyone. I'm just interrupting proceedings for a couple of minutes to celebrate another experienced bookseller and an unsung hero. He is one of only 2 or 3 people in this room to have been involved with the awards since the very beginning, since their conception over 20 years ago. Their continued success is, I should say, very largely down to his influence and his love and admiration of Irish writers. The recipient of this special recognition award is someone that many of you in this room know very well, our awards administrator, Bert Wright. He's squirming so badly now. He knows nothing about this. He's reached a significant age which kindness prevents me from mentioning aloud, and it's given him pause to consider whether he's had enough. Of me, certainly, he's had enough. Everything else, perhaps. He thought that, and I'm quoting his own phrase here, before he starts circling the drain, it was nearly time to step down. I wanted to mark this moment in front of his friends and colleagues by presenting him with his very own Irish Book Award. I doubt we'll stop seeing him around. He hasn't exactly admitted to retiring. I imagine he'll simply withdraw to the back benches so he can glower at me from a distance. We'll still meet up regularly, I'm sure, and he'll continue to tell me where I'm going wrong. In truth, I will find it hard to imagine these awards without being able to call on his huge experience and occasionally wise counsel. Yes, he's forthright, but he's also an erudite, lovable, and very funny man. And I'm proud to also call him a great friend. Of the many things that he calls me on a regular occasion, I don't think friend is one of them. I'm so sorry. I turned this off. So sorry. Sorry. It's Bert. He says, get off. Now, as I mentioned earlier, before the Irish Book Awards, Bert was a bookseller extraordinaire, having worked in bookshops in Scotland, England, Ireland, and the US, covering a 40-year career. To present his award, I'd like to ask somebody who has known him a bit longer than I, a colleague from his time in the States, a unique sense of serendipity allows me to call on Unpost CEO David McRedmond.
Thank you. This was as much a surprise to me. I mightn't have had those couple of glasses of wine. And I thought I'd never be asked to present an award to Bert Wright, my old sparring partner as a bookseller. We disagreed on virtually everything, and yet there's no bookseller I admired more than Bert, except possibly one. Bert and I will agree, I hope, this evening on 2 things. Firstly, when we went to Boston and we opened Waterstones Boston, and Bert and I did everything we could and we tried to make it the best bookstore, we both gave up and realised that actually Bert's now wife, Colette Carty, was the best bookseller of all of us. And Colette is here tonight, and I'd like to congratulate Colette. The other thing I hope that Bert can agree is in the book trade, the administrators, we talk about the publishers, the writers, the heroes. The administrators really do so much, the publicists, the marketeers, to make sure that they bring writers to audiences. Bert, over 40 years, has brought great writers to great audiences. He's an extraordinary friend to the Irish book trade. I think he's the best person in the Irish book trade, and I'm so proud to present him this award. Come on, Bert, my friend, come on up.
I'm still standing better than I ever did. Looking like a true survivor, feeling like a little kid. I'm still standing after all this time, picking up the pieces of my life with that one more time. I'm still standing, yeah, yeah. I'm still standing, yeah. I'm still standing.
Well, after that Oleaginous tribute, I hope you didn't get sick. They meant it, I think, to a certain extent. But they've both been great friends of mine, and it's been fun to work with them. But I just wanted to say what a fantastic 2 weeks it's been. Scotland qualified for the World Cup, Arsenal running riot, and now this. So truly my cup runneth over. It really is an honour to receive a special award on the same night as Michael D. and David McRedmond, but I hardly deserve it in isolation. So a special shout out to long-term friends and colleagues at Agile Marketing, the board of the awards, Unique Media, and their sponsors, especially An Post, who under the leadership of David McRedmond has helped us to project the awards into every corner of the literary landscape with passion, vision, and innovation. All arts projects have a shelf life, and the ones that last do so for a reason. The success of these awards, I believe, has been down to our determination to secure total buy-in from the book industry at large. Look around you. There are 650 guests here tonight, where 20 years ago we were struggling to attract more than 100. In closing, I should mention the gaffer, Alistair Giles, who has always told me our relationship has been one of fruitful creative tension, which is all very well, but at times it's felt as if I've been playing the back end of a pantomime horse, while up front Neddy Giles ploughs on, serenely ignoring my advice and kicking over the furniture as he goes. Still, it's been great fun, and I wouldn't have had it any other way. I can honestly say there's never been a dull moment. I will miss it. Thank you for this beautiful trophy. I will cherish it and promise never to use it as a doorstop, as Gwyneth Paltrow did with her Oscar. Gura míle mac.
A big congratulations to Bert, well deserved, I know, and thank you also to Alistair and David. We move on. Now let's spend a few moments celebrating writers new to their craft. I mean, one of our awards' aims is to showcase the extraordinarily rich seam of new Irish writing talent being mined by agents and publishers right at the moment. In partnership with the Irish Independent Media Group, we've integrated the new Irish writing promotion previously known as the Hennessy Prize into the awards. And this year we've taken this support very seriously by creating a new IBA scholarship scheme in partnership with the Irish Writers' Centre in Parnell Square. We have two categories, in poetry and short fiction, and both winners tonight will be enrolled in the scheme to receive a package of courses, of mentorship and membership to help them on their way to publication. And we start with the Poetry Award. Here are the nominations.
New Irish Writing Best Poetry, in association with the Irish Independent. There's Never a Crowd at the Poetry Section, by Vincent Barton. The Tragedy of It, by Kevin O'Farrell. The Crows and the Leaf, by Paul McMahon. Minimum Wage, Southeastern Wind and Midnight Oil, by Joanne McCarthy. Rowan's Furniture, Dublin, 1965. And Carousel, by Nullig Rowan. I Remember Stealing and The Visitor, by Brona Mallon.
Presenting our first award tonight is Samantha McCaughrean from the Irish Independent. Welcome, Samantha. I know poet Enda Wiley judged this category. Who is his inaugural poetry winners and recipient of the first IBA scholarship package?
The winner of the New Irish Writing Best Poetry in association with the Irish Independent is There's Never a Crowd at the Poetry Section by Vincent Barton.
Thank you very much. My mind is fully blown. Thank you to An Post for this out-of-body experience. And thank you also to Kieran Carty, the legendary Kieran Carty, and the New Irish Writing team for making it possible to have the honour of being in the company of other shortlisted colleagues such as Kevin and Paul, Nullig, Joanne and Brona, and on Priya Fila, Michael D on this evening. That's such an honour. So thank you all very much. This beautiful trophy is distinction in itself. It's also something of an amulet, a protection for those moments in the future when my beautiful wife Elaine shouts up at me when I'm scribbling up in the attic, "What the hell are you doing up there?" Thank you. I hope this goes partially towards explaining what. Thank you very much. Good night.
Well, congratulations there to Vincent and thank you to Samantha. The second award is for new unpublished short fiction. Let's look again at the nominations.
New Irish Writing Best Short Story in association with the Irish Independent. Carnations by Lorraine Courtney. Glass Splinters by Kieran Marsh. Breathing Lessons by Sylvia Caldwell. That Little Tent of Blue by Mary Shovelin. All the Birch Trees Were Waving by Pádraig Quinn. A Constriction by Eamon McGuinness.
Well, the novelist Owen McNamee was the main judge this year, but to present the award, we have the curator and editor of New Irish Writing, Kieran, who's been mentioned many times. Who is his winner, Kieran? You're very welcome.
Thank you.
The winner of the New Irish Writing Best Short Story in association with the Irish Independent is All the Birch Trees Were Waving by Pádraig Quinn.
Save tonight, fight the break of dawn, come tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll be gone, save tonight, fight the break of dawn, come tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll be
Oh, wow. Wow. Blown away. I didn't prepare anything because I didn't think I had a hope. I have to say thank you so much to Kieran. Opportunities like this for new writers, they mean so much. I have to say thanks to my mum and my brother. Without the sacrifices they made, I wouldn't be on this stage today. To my wife, she gives me the confidence to send these stories out. Without her, I would never have sent this story. And finally to Dad, I never knew him, but I know I'm sure he'd be proud of this. So, thanks so much.
Wow. It was beautiful. Congratulations, Pádraig. And thanks again to Samantha and all the judges for the New Irish Writing, and to Kieran there, of course. Well, to complete the platform of our support for new writers, we come full circle to showcase the best published debut in the Sunday Independent Newcomer of the Year. This has always been one of our most successful categories, giving a first flush of recognition to now well-known authors such as Donal Ryan, Louise O'Neill and Sarah Baum. 6 more talented debutantes have emerged to declare their talent, and the continuity of that tradition. Presenting the award is Sunday Independent literary editor Madeleine Keane. But let's take a look first at the nominations.
The Sunday Independent Newcomer of the Year, The Compound by Aisling Rawle, Sugartown by Cara Maxwell, Show Me Where It Hurts by Claire Gleeson, The Wardrobe Department by Elaine Garvey, Thirst Trap by Gráinne O'Hare, Everyone's Still Here by Liadhan Ní Chinn, Odd Body by Rose Keating, Frogs for Watchdogs by Sean Farrell.
Madeleine, delighted you're here. Do you have a winner for us, please?
No.
She says no. Okay.
The winner of the Sunday Independent Newcomer of the Year is Claire Gleeson for Show Me Where It Hurts.
When the battle finally fell out, Arthur came to throne. The only thing I knew how to do was to keep on keeping on like a bird that flew. Take a look in blue.
Wow, thank you all so much. Thank you, Madeleine and Miriam. Thank you to An Post and the whole team behind the Irish Book Awards. This is an incredible night you've put on for us. It's really, really very special. This is beautiful, isn't it? Absolutely gorgeous. There are so many people who worked really hard to get this book out onto the shelves, and I'm not going to go through them all tonight, but there are 3 people who are all here tonight who I do especially want to mention. First of all, my agent, Julia Silk. Julia was the very first person to say yes to this novel, and I am eternally grateful that she did. Thank you to my editor at Sceptre, Ansa Kankatak. Ansa has been an absolute joy to work with from start to finish, and I very much hope I get the opportunity to do so again. And I want to say a special thank you to Elaine Egan at Hachette Ireland. Anyone who knows Elaine knows what an absolute powerhouse she is, and I'm very aware that so much of the book's success here at home is down to the hard work of Elaine and the team in Castleknock. So thank you very much. Thank you, as always, to my family and friends for their endless support, especially to my husband John and our 3 children, and to everyone who has bought, borrowed or otherwise supported the book. I really couldn't be more grateful to you all. I feel just very lucky tonight and very proud to be an Irish writer, so thank you all so, so much.
Congratulations there to Claire, and thanks so much to Madeleine. Well, the next award is Gradam Love Dar Gaelga, Fiction Gaelga na Mlíne, which celebrates the central role the Irish language plays in the literary life of our nation. And presenting the award tonight is broadcaster, journalist and podcaster Sinead Ní Ullacombe. Welcome, Sinead. Let's look first at the nominees.
Gradam love lawer gailge, lawer fiction gailge na bliana. Skeelta nolog le hallan titli, mashehe eg firis aldecac. Fihe le colmo calachoin, Baudelaire le darachos gali, unvleask samwish le miholo canela.
And Sinead, do you have a winner for us, please?
I certainly do. Ten Gradam love lawer gailge, the lawer fiction gailge na bliana chig. Darachos gali the Baudelaire.
Gurmagi me van all in Anna. Atá is tó in intis le Baudelaire le Ravlian Nuas. Baudelaire, as you might know, is a coffee-drinking poet from the west of Ireland. Bhí me héanagus Baudelaire a mus maidin Tiatascaile was CityLink agus scríb se ní raibh ein túdaige lei seo, scríb se a rejection slip. You'll Baudelaire a while fi worth. Gan búnóid, gan gradam, gan dúis. Ach dóil sé siar espresso, gá latte agus macchiato, agus nish tá sé sodar go suairt. Agus ceanna le. You'll see there's a common thread. Hannig Baudelaire a while as Paris, gan Légion d'honneur, Prix Goncourt, ach Plamos. Ach tá Catherine sean héin in Hochtrán a réim agus by Baudelaire ar tríal ar an áras. Gurmagaí agus tíir sin an Palestine.
Congratulations there, Mina Buekas to Derek, and thank you to Sinead. We're now coming to our next award, which is the W.H. Smith Popular Fiction Book of the Year. Our popular fiction writers, listen, power the engine that drives the Irish book industry, and this is always a really hotly contested category. Presenting the award is Dan O'Brien from W.H. Smith, but first, let's see the 2025 nominations.
W.H. Smith Popular Fiction Book of the Year in association with Ireland AM. Our Song by Anna Carey. Paper Heart by Cecilia Ahern. Releasing 10 by Chloe Walsh. Before Dorothy by Hazel Gaynor. City Girls Forever by Patricia Scanlon. Moving On by Roisin Meany. The In-Laws by Sinead Moriarty. Such a Good Couple by Sophie White.
Dan, are you ready to tell us the winner, Dan?
I am, thank you. And the winner of the W.H. Smith Popular Fiction Book of the Year in association with Ireland AM is Paper Heart by Cecilia Ahern.
Scary. Thank you so much. Thanks to An Post and the Irish Book Awards. I thought if I dressed like a postbox, I might be in with a chance, and it worked. This book is dedicated to my brilliant friend Sarah Jane Tobin, who is my date tonight. I met her when I was 14 on work experience in RTE, and she was emptying fan mail for Just in the Turkey. And I was rewinding horse racing videos for Tracy Piggott. And 30 years later, here we are, and I'm so glad I met you that day, and I'm so glad that you're here tonight, because this book is for you. Huge thank you to HarperCollins, my publishers, particularly Lynn Drew, my editor, who has been my editor since 2002 for my first book, P.S. I Love You. Huge thank you so much for everything, for your guidance, for your patience, for your support. Thank you, Frankie Gray. Thank you, amazing Tony Perdue, Patricia McVeigh, Liz Dawson. I shouldn't have started with names. And the whole team. That covers it. Huge thanks to my agents, Rowan Lawton and Marina DePass from the Soho Agency, the libraries, the booksellers, the readers. Thank you so much, Argosy, for letting me drive your forklift. That is a real high for me. I think what they would like is for all authors to ask. That would be really up there for them. I think John Boyne, yeah, I'm mentioning you, Roddy Doyle and Donal Ryan are like my 3 literary musketeers. I would like to thank you so much, whether you know it or not, or like it or not, for inspiring me, supporting me, and for your friendship. And for the amazing team of women writers in this room. You are like a squad of the most supportive people, and I love being your buddy, and I love being in this community. Give me a whoop, because you usually do. There you are. My family. My husband David and my 3 kids, Robin, Sunny and Blossom, thank you so much, because everything is for you. This book is about a woman who expresses herself through poetry and through origami, and I have a bit in common with her. I like to dig with my pen, and I create worlds in paper and through paper. And I'm so honoured to be in a room filled with people who do exactly the same thing, because in this room, none of us are the odd one out. I'm so grateful. Thank you so much.
Congratulations there to Cecilia, and many thanks, of course, to Dan. Well, we're in the home straight, don't worry now, folks. So fill your glasses for the few remaining awards, of which the first is Crime Fiction Book of the Year, sponsored for the first time by a wonderful independent chain of bookshops, Book Centre. And joining me on stage is their MD, Maeve Ryan. Maeve, let's take a look at the nominations for this year's Best Emerald Noir.
The Book Centre Crime Fiction Book of the Year, in association with the Irish Independent. The Stranger Inside, by Amanda Cassidy. It Should Have Been You, by Andrea Mara. The Stolen Child, by Carmel Harrington. Burn After Reading, by Catherine Ryan Howard. The Secret Room, by Jane Casey. Fair Play, by Louise Hegarty. The Killing Sense, by Sam Blake. Two Kinds of Stranger, by Steve Kavanagh.
OK, Maeve, do you have the name of the winner for us, please?
I do indeed, Miriam. The winner of the Book Centre and Barker & Jones Crime Fiction Book of the Year, in association with the Irish Independent, is It Should Have Been You, by Andrea Mara.
Feel like somebody's watching me. Ain't got no privacy. I always feel like somebody's watching me. Don't got no privacy.
Oh my God, my friends are at the watch party, so thank God, because if they went and nothing happened again. Thank you so much. This This is my 6th time to be shortlisted, and I've never won before. And every single time I've been shortlisted, I mean, it is genuinely, as all the shortlisted authors know, it's such an honour, such a privilege to be shortlisted, and it really, really does feel like winning every single time you get shortlisted. Except now I'm standing here going, actually, winning is quite cool. So thank you so much. Thank you to An Post and to the judges and the voters and the readers. And thank you to my amazing editor, Finn Cotton, and everybody at Transworld. Thank you to my agent, Diana Beaumont. And thank you for the camaraderie to all my amazing writer friends who are here in the room. And to my best friends who are watching on the live stream. Again, thank God I finally won. Thank you for all your support to my sisters who are my first readers, and to my dad who is my first storyteller, and to my husband who is here, and to Elisania and Matthew who are at home and hopefully going to bed soon because it is a school night. Thank you.
You mentioned there your friends in the live streaming parties. Don't worry, I'm not going to take this award off you, right? So they are, as I said earlier, in the Devlin Hotel, in the Stella Cinema. And Porrick is there. Porrick, can you hear me? And who do you have with us there?
Hello, Miriam. Thanks so much. What a wonderful night it's been so far. And Andrea, a massive, massive congratulations. Well, the surprise is out. We've got some of your besties here. Have a look over here for me. The girls have the bubblies out already, right? We're here, we're celebrating. We're absolutely delighted for you and well deserved. This is Jenny. Jenny, you've been friends with Andrea for a while now. Tell us, how do you know each other?
So we were in secondary school, so we've known each other since we were 12.
Okay.
Yeah.
So not that long. Not that long at all. And what would you like to say to Andrea tonight?
Just a huge congratulations. We are so beyond proud of her. She's just an amazing writer. She's such a good friend as well as everything else. And it's well deserved. And, you know, well done, Andrea. Congratulations.
Well done, Andrea. Massive, massive congratulations. And of course, a massive congratulations to all of the winners and the nominees tonight. That's all from us here. Thanks so much, Miriam.
Bye, Porrick. You were great. Well, where do I go? You go that way with me. That was fab. I love Porrick. I've never seen him or met him before, but I love him. Definitely, give him a show, someone. Now, for our penultimate award this evening, thank God I hear you say, we come to the Eason Novel of the Year. And presenting the award will be Linda Laffin, Eason's Books buyer. Truly, these are halcyon days, as you all know, for the Irish novel. Let's take a look at this year's excellent collection of nominated books.
Eason Novel of the Year. Let Me Go Mad in My Own Way by Elaine Feeney. The Boy from the Sea by Gareth Carr. Conversation with the Sea by Hugo Hamilton. Venetian Vespers by John Banville. Fun and Games by John Patrick McHugh. The Ghosts of Rome by Joseph O'Connor. Nesting by Roisin O'Donnell. The Benefactors by Wendy Erskine.
And Linda, the award goes to who tonight?
So the winner of the Eason Novel of the Year is Nesting by Roisin O'Donnell.
Goodness, I hate surprises.
I wrote something down just because I can't stand being caught off guard. I think it's a single mammy thing. It's like you have to be 10 steps ahead, you know, so excuse me for the wee scrappy note here. This is such an honour, honestly. Thank you so much. Thank you to all the readers. The reaction to nesting, the way that readers have taken Ciara and her story to heart has just been beyond my wildest dreams, honestly. Thank you everyone who gave nesting your vote of confidence. It honestly just means the world to me. Having just revealed that I really just don't like surprises or uncertainty, the writers in the room are probably now wondering how on earth I got through the experience of publishing a debut novel. And the publishers are nodding, yeah, they know what I'm talking about. Publishing your first novel is nothing if it's not a year of complete flux, complete uncertainty. You don't know how a novel is going to land until it meets its readers. So how did I get through the last year? Well, the answer is I've had the very, very best team. And I just want to say a few thank yous. Thank you to my agent, Eleanor Byrne. You believed in this book from the very start, and I can't begin to thank you enough. Thank you to my editor at Scribner, Sophie Missing, just for trusting me, for your sensitivity, your kindness, for not freaking out when I did things like just delete whole chapters. Short story writer, editing a novel is an occupational hazard. Thank you, Sophie, for trusting me with it. Thank you to my American editor, Betsy, as well. And I just want to say a massive thank you to the whole team at Scribner UK. They really have just treated me and nesting with just such sensitivity, just such kindness. Thank you to Olivia and to Polly who've made the trip over tonight. It's just your support has made such a difference over the last year. It's been just incredible. I'm very, very grateful. Thank you to the team at Gil Hess. Thank you to Declan, Helen, Simon and Jack for just... You featured in a lot of thank yous tonight, I've noticed. They're very, very busy people and they just mind all their authors so well. Just as a total aside, if anyone wants to get some steps in, I'd recommend the Dublin Bookshop Tour with Declan Heaney. I'm still recovering, honestly, all the bookshop in Dublin in one day. It was wild, but it was the best day ever as well. I want to say thank you to my mum and dad. Thank you to my sister Alice and her little clan, just for your love and support. Thank you and so much love to my two daughters, Mary and Anya. You'll be delighted I'm bringing something home tonight. I think I would have been in trouble if I hadn't. You're the best girls in the world. And I hope that you've gone to sleep now for Granny. Anya did tell me, she said, "Mammy, I'm going to stay awake till you get home." I said, "Okay." She said, "Yeah, I'm in training for Santa, for staying awake." So that was another discussion. I want to finish up tonight, and it's hard. You're in a hard position as a novelist because we're always told the novel is not political, which there's debate around that. It can be, I think, a convenient way of silencing some less convenient stories. Yeah. But it's definitely a fine line. Language has to come first, character, story, all of this. But I suppose, I don't think, for me, it would not be possible to write a novel like Nesting and to be in a position like this without saying something, right? And what I want to say is that Nesting is a work of fiction. The reality, of course, of control and domestic abuse and homelessness in contemporary Ireland is very far from fiction for too many people. I hope you don't mind me using this minute to say that, in some ways I wrote Nesting to get beyond the statistics, to break the statistics down, to show the reality, right? But in some ways it is the statistics that speak volumes, and we have, at this moment, a record level of calls to women's aid. We have, and these are linked, We have a record level of people experiencing homelessness. The number now stands at well over 16,000. And I just want to say that 5,328 of those are children. All I can say is I would urge you to join me in calling on the Irish government to treat this situation as what it is, which is a national emergency, and to do everything in their power to bring an end to this. And just to end on a more hopeful note, I suppose, there's a few seanachal scattered throughout nesting, which are Irish proverbs, and I absolutely love them. I used to collect these on sugar sachets. I don't think they make them anymore. There's a campaign to bring those back. But one that I absolutely love, and I'm aware, like my Sheffield/Derry accent, I'm going to like murder the Gaeilge here in front of like President Michael D. Higgins, so I'm sorry about that. But the expression is Scach na céile a Wirian na Dinna. And that means in the shelter of each other, the people survive. And when the protagonist of Nesting first hears this, she's a bit skeptical about it. She sort of doesn't really think there's much truth in it. But I like to think she's maybe changed her mind by the end, and maybe it's something that we can all think about, is this word shelter. How do we offer shelter to the loved ones in our lives? How do we offer shelter to the most vulnerable in our society? And how can we maybe change this story? Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks so much, Linda, and huge congrats there to Roshi. Now, before we move on to our very last award presentation of the night, let me just remind you that we will have one more award outstanding at the end of tonight, and that's, of course, the winner of the overall An Post Book of the Year. And it's not decided until later in December. We have over 15 new book award winners crowned tonight, but 6 of those winners, selected by the strength of the public and Academy voting, is going to be revealed in a week's time as the finalists for our Irish Book of the Year. And the winning title in 2025 will be unveiled, of course, on RT1 television in a special 1-hour programme on the 11th of December. And who will take this year's crown and add to a list that includes Donal Ryan, Paul Murray, Fintan O'Toole and Doireann Ní Ghríofa, presented by my RT colleague Oliver Callan. Last year's show was watched by a huge audience of book gifting viewers. Here's a clip of last year's show just to give you an idea of the format.
The most important date in the Irish literary calendar has arrived once again. The best books and their authors have been shortlisted to a final 6, and one will be crowned the An Post Irish Book of the Year 2024. We've gathered all 6 authors to tell us their story of these great reads.
So without further ado, I have the green envelope here. So the Irish Book of the Year 2024 is Heart Be at Peace by Donal Ryan.
Thank you so much. I feel terribly guilty. I don't feel deserving of this at all in this company. Thanks a million. God, it's amazing.
Must be thinking of your mum at this moment.
Absolutely, yeah. Oh God, she'd be thrilled. She would be so thrilled. I'm sure she is thrilled, in fairness.
In the Tesco of Nina's heaven.
Exactly, yeah, absolutely.
She's telling them all. Ladies and gentlemen, Donal Ryan. Well done.
Flavour there. And the independent judging panel for this prestigious prize includes Sinead McCorry from Waterstones, Cyril McGrain from An Post, children's reviewer Sarah Keating, Madeleine Keane of the Sunday Independent, and it's chaired this year by the best-selling author Paul Howard. I don't envy them making their decision, but I hope, like me, you will all tune in to watch it on RT1 at 10:15 on the 11th of December to see who wins Ireland's Best Book of 2025. Finally, our last award tonight is the Library Association of Ireland Author of the Year. According to the columnist Caitlin Moran, libraries are cathedrals of the mind and hospitals of the soul, theme parks of the imagination, But of course, they would be none of those things without the creators of the books, the authors, and this category aims to reward an Irish author who has undoubtedly made an outstanding contribution to the library sector in 2025. For the final time this evening, let's take a look at the nominations.
The Library Association of Ireland Author of the Year: Elaine Feeney, Donal Ryan, John Boyne, Roisin O'Donnell, Sarah Maria Griffin, Colm Tóibín.
Well, to present their award, will you please welcome Lorna Dodd, President of the Library Association of Ireland. Your winner, please.
The winner of the Library Association of Ireland Author of the Year is Elaine Feeney.
Go long walk of a day, and I met a little girl and we stopped to talk. Lonesome day, and I asked you, friend, what's a fella to do? 'Cause her hair was black and her eyes were blue, and I knew right then I've been thinking the world. It's all the wrong with a Galway
Hello. Joseph O'Connor told me to write something down. He must have seen something when he was up here. And so I did. And he handed me a big biro. I was a bit unimpressed. But anyway, I'm absolutely thrilled and very shocked. I'm delighted that the voters stayed voting for lefty Galway women, so thank you. I've been thinking about libraries a lot, actually, and that was very interesting what Kathleen Moran said, but my mother used to bring us to the library in Athenry during my whole childhood every Saturday, myself and my brothers and my sister. And it was only when I went and I got myself a lovely university education that I realised that a lot of people didn't bring back books on Saturdays and that they actually covered their walls with them. And I'm so grateful to the librarian of the Athenry Library. Except when I was about 11, I asked her for Edna O'Brien. And she told me she'd give me something like Edna the following week. And she gave me Alice Taylor's To School Through the Fields. And I'm certain that's why I can't write sex. So, I may have also taken the 2 Dylan Thomas books from the library, and that was my first foray into crime. I will bring them back 30 years later. But I started publishing books in 2007, and I had the same publisher as a man in the room called Michael D. Higgins, and we both are from that wonderful publishing house, Salmon Poetry in Clare. And I'm so grateful to them for allowing me a voice, and to Vinnie and the staff at Charlie Burns. I shouldn't pick out a bookseller, but they were the bravest because they stocked my books before anybody in the whole world did. Thank you. I'm very lucky to have had a fantastic team now with my novels, and I am really, really grateful to everybody at Penguin Ireland, to Michael and to Kate, Sophie, Leonore and Lorna. Leonore is the best publicist in the whole world, but don't tell anyone because I want her to keep her. To my wonderful editor at Vintage and Harville in the UK, Kate Harvey, who believed in my madness some many years ago, and to Ellie Steele. I'm very lucky I have 2 editors. I'm a madly feminist writer. Many people in the room will know that, but I have to really, really thank my writing journey to 2 men, actually, who have believed in me. To my husband, Ray Glasheen, the very first man to believe in me, so he's my real husband. And to my other work husband, Mr. Peter Strauss, who I think may be going to Stockholm because they're giving prizes out over there, but I don't know. But he also has had an incredible amount of patience with me. And I'm so incredibly grateful to both of those men for believing in my voice, and to my 2 wonderful sons who might be in the pub now, Jack and Finn. Gurmila Mohagwiv, it's been a fantastic night. You can have the tequila shots now. And to all my friends, I've left loads of people out. Thank you. Slán.
Well, huge congratulations there to Lane, and of course thank you to Lorna. Sinead, as I say, well, tonight we've been privileged to see many of our finest writers rewarded for what they do best, enchanting readers, taking our minds off real-world problems for a while. To all of you winners and nominees, we congratulate you and assure you that everyone at the Irish An Post Book Awards and Irish readers in general are in awe of your talents, and I think people truly are. A final reminder that the winner of the overall An Post Book of the Year is still to be revealed. The 6 finalists will be revealed in the media on the 4th of December, and the TV show which reveals the winner is a week later on the 11th. And just before I take my leave of you, a reminder that the bar will remain open until 1 a.m. and the Camembert Quartet will perform a few numbers for us all in a little while. It's been my privilege. And just one thing, our former wonderful president, Michael D. Higgins, is going to leave the room. So if you would stay just for a minute to let him exit, that would be brilliant. Míle bríochas to everyone. Have a great night, Slán.
Every woman